I do think that, look, I think that what I see in January 6th, what I see when it comes to immigration, what I see when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, all of these things wind up becoming fodder for division. You have to have a take. And it winds up having to be the opposite take that the other side has. And I really think that it's symptomatic of our decline.
I totally agree.
January 6th was either no big deal, the BLM stuff was worse, or it was an insurrection. And everybody there is treason. We don't like what the president does, treason. Or he did nothing. Everything is like that. Immigration, the migration stuff. You are hit with the stick of you are forwarding the replacement theory. That the Democrats want to bring in as many brown people as possible to replace white people.
Well, they've said that. Repeated. Well, like 3 books have been written on it.
What? 3 books? That's not the policy is not to replace white people with brown people.
So I'm interested, and by the way, I've never said white people. I said the current people who are born here, many of them are not white. I don't know how we get to white people.
You contextualize it as white people. You'll say white people created everything. They don't want us to have white babies. Why is it coming
I've
up?
never said they don't want us to have white babies. I haven't said that.
No?
Though the attacks on white people are one of the biggest things that's ever happened in our country. The fact that people in the media can just sort of blithely attack an entire group on the basis of their skin color, I just grew up thinking that was completely out of bounds.
Does it matter if the group is a majority or a minority?
Well, the principle never changes, which is you're not responsible for your skin color. You're only responsible for what you do.
Right.
And so you can't attack people on the basis of immutable characteristics. And if you can, then tell me why segregation was wrong. I don't really understand. I think segregation was wrong. And I've always thought that. I think it now.
Good.
And I think attacking people on the basis of their skin color is always wrong. It was every bit as wrong as what's happening now. It's every affirmative action, totally immoral. How can you give someone a job on the basis of a skin color? How can you deny someone a job on the basis of a skin color? You're not allowed to do that in our country. That's what I was taught growing up in a very liberal place in California. And then I get older and it's like, oh, we're definitely gonna do that. And you can't complain about it or you're the racist. And it's like, no. You're the one punishing people for how they were born, for their skin color. I thought that was like Bull Connor stuff. I thought we hated that. In fact, I thought that was the lodestar of American politics. The one thing we hate is attacking people, denying them opportunity on the basis of their skin color. And they're like, oh, no. Not only do we do that, but you can't mention it. Well, I think I can, actually. And boy, I've had a lot of people, Republicans, tell me I can't mention that. Why? Well, they never explain. Just shut up.
It makes them radioactive.
I don't care. That's wrong.
Because it is substituting a level playing field where there isn't one. So the way affirmative action was supposed to work was that it would enable a merit-based system that people who are minorities were being kept out of for 2 reasons. One, they didn't have the opportunities early on to build up the tools that a lot of white people did because of what they call now privilege, but really it's opportunity. And the second reason is that because white people were the majority and didn't like the minority.
Okay, so the second...
So you had a system that was set up against them, had to be remedied. That was the theory.
It's almost impossible to apply logic to this because it's based on, obviously, racial hostility and political calculation. It's not based on any principle of justice. But I'll just ask
hold on. That is justice. Fairness under law, meaning that just because this person is brown doesn't mean you can treat him like a dog.
Oh my gosh, of course not.
But that's what it was supposed to remedy.
Just because this person is any color, you should never punish someone for how he was born, period.
But the country did.
Of course, and that ended in 1965.
No, it didn't.
Okay, well, let me ask you a couple questions then. If whites become the minority, which I keep reading it's going to happen really soon, should they be beneficiaries of affirmative action?
If they start to get discriminated against.
Okay, so would you...
On the basis of that.
Well, they're already discriminated against in college admissions, in hiring, both federal and private sector. Whites are, I just saw this the other day, I was kind of shocked by it. If you're to break out the country by ethnicity, which I hate, I don't think we should count by race. I think we should address people as they were created by God, which is as individuals.
That's fine as long as everybody's getting a fair shake.
Whites are not in the top 5 for income in the United States right now. Nigerians, on average, make more than whites. So if you're talking about a world that is black and white and the whites have some sort of entrenched privilege and are beneficiaries of all this stuff, you're really talking about a country that's generations gone. And so in the current country, virtually every immigrant group has a higher income than native-born whites. So I'm not mad about that. I'm just saying that's not a basis upon which to discriminate against whites. And if you continue to, with those numbers in hand, and those are public numbers from the Labor Department, then you're really doing this because you hate whites. And I don't want to live in a country where we punish people because the people in charge don't like their skin color. Because we've lived in that country before, and I don't want to live in it again.
So how is it that the people in charge are mostly white, but they hate whites?
Well, that's a very deep question. And
It's the only kind I ask.
I would say this, I mean, I don't know the answer, but I would say this just as I travel, to the extent that I do. I have never one time been yelled at by a non-white person, not one time. Not one time. No black person has ever yelled, racist! I've had way more, never. I've never had a Spanish person or Asian person, any non-white ever do that. It's been about 99% 32-year-old female white lawyers. I'm just saying.
What do they say?
Racist! Okay. So look, there's a deep psychology here. I don't fully understand it. There's a lot I don't understand, including this. But I don't need to. Because in this country, you should never be allowed to punish people on the basis of their skin color. I just start and end there. And I don't, all these rationales, well, systemic this, systemic that. You don't have the evidence to support your position, not you, but the person making that case. And even if you did, it wouldn't matter. You can't punish people for the color of their skin. That's the whole freaking lesson of the entire civil rights movement.
Yeah.
We're like pretending it's like the opposite lesson.
No, it's that how do you enable equality? If it's not going to happen naturally,
okay,
how do you enable it?
If you
and that's what the
find
policies
a
were
way
about.
to do that wouldn't punish people or advantage people, either one, on the basis of their skin color, if you could find a way that wouldn't let some people sit in the front row and others sit in the balcony, or give some people, a water fountain in the lobby and some a water fountain in the utility closet, then we could talk about it. But no scheme devised, or that conceivably could be devised, doesn't wind up helping some people on the basis of their skin color and hurting people on the basis of their skin color. And they used to tell us for years, like, oh, affirmative action doesn't hurt white people. Look at the hiring numbers.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. Thanks a lot for watching our YouTube channel. There is a lot more, and you can find it all on tuckercarlson.com, and we hope you will.